Only the Dead by Jack Carr. This is the sixth book in the Terminal List series. Follows James Reece, a former American Navy SEAL. At the end of the last book, James Reece is arrested for conspiracy to murder the President of the United States. So we find him in the beginning in solitary confinement. And this story explores a new adventure. So in this episode, I'll just give my thoughts on the book, and it's going to be full of spoilers. One of the interesting things is the shadow organization called the Collective. Now, after having read this book, what comes to mind for me is what I've seen in the James Bond movies, specifically Spectre. Now, I haven't read any of the James Bond books, but I've seen a few of the movies, most of them the Daniel Craig versions. And I've also read some James Bond comic books. One of them that comes to mind is one called Hammerhead. So it seems this series has its own Spectre called the Collective. And it's an organization of people around the world that have an interest in making money, initially avoiding a nuclear confrontation. In this world, it came to life around the end of World War II. I wonder if James Reece is being set up to be a James Bond type of spy. Obviously, he's not exactly a spy. In this book, I saw a number of typos, not necessarily with how things were spelled, but it seemed here and there the word didn't fit or it didn't make sense. Having read now six of these books, it's kind of funny that the main character keeps escaping at the last moment when you think he's going to die. But that's just part of the world of fiction series action thrillers. I mean, if James Reese died, then you couldn't make a next adventure. So having thought about all that and being aware of it, it's still a pretty good book because of the way the author kind of adds new elements, some new mysteries to be solved as a reader. For example, in many of the books past, the main character's father, Thomas Reese, is mentioned to be a veteran of the Vietnam War and then working at the CIA. He's killed in action. And a few books ago, James Reese finds a letter from his father and a key. And in this book, we find out where that key goes, what it opens, and a new mystery that is unraveled, a conspiracy, and this is where the collective gets involved. So it's pretty cool. The author really does make use of foreign actors from the perspective of the US. Their enemies, Russia and Iran, for example, in this book. It's a pretty good plot that's woven well. For me personally, some of the action is hard to follow. I'm not too familiar with the weapons. Even some of the settings are not exactly easy to follow, but I would say, is that because my familiarity with it or because it wasn't described for an audience that's not familiar? So specifically, there's an action scene on a boat. So I'm not too familiar with boat terminologies like aft and port. I know one is the back, one is the front. So the movement on the boat, entering the different rooms, that was kind of hard to follow, but I've seen enough action on boats to kind of guess. And it's still overall, it's still good. You can still follow what's going on. The way the action is written itself is very good. It's very thrilling. You want to see what happens next. There's no question that it's written to keep you moving to the next step in the action. What's he gonna do? How's he gonna get out of this? Okay, he fell into the water and he's handcuffed to another person. How is he gonna get out of that? It's one against seven. How is he going to kill all these people? There's a nuclear bomb. How is he going to defuse it? Is that even possible? Well, as a story, it's good. I really enjoyed it. The action was written well, the descriptions are well. The novel unravels in a way that kept me interested. It took me about a week to 2 weeks to read it, on average 30 to 50 pages a day. So overall, a good entry in the book. I'm looking forward to the next one. Yeah, Only the Dead, Jack Carr.